Welcome back to the Elise Surkov podcast, where we help women in perimenopause and menopause thrive unapologetically from the inside out. All right, today I'm going to be chatting about something that I recently talked about in our FFWE community, and that was the summer mindset. So I had done a community call back in December on the winter mindset. Or actually, I think I did it in November. It was when we first changed the clocks back and everything is darker and like everyone's just like hibernate for the rest of the winter. We have a long winter. So, flipping out of that into the summer mindset. Because I know if you're anything like me, you just fucking love summer, right? You've got the longer days. I mean, everybody is so happy. I was on a call yesterday and the woman I was speaking to, she was like, I just love this weather and I love this season and I'm just happy all the time. And I'm like, I get it. And I want that for myself. I want that for everybody because I'm already thinking like, I wish I lived in a place that was always like this. But if I did, I don't feel I would look at seasons the same, right? And I always say there's cycles and seasons for everything. And so, if we look at like cycle syncing, which Coach Christine, one of my coaches in FFWE, has spoken a lot about. And again, I've referenced this. If you haven't caught that podcast episode, go ahead and check out cycle syncing and moon syncing. But we talk about seasons of change, seasons of identity, seasons of friendship, seasons of growth. And this season of summer is really that season of creativity and flow and that feminine energy and allowing. And so naturally, we're going to feel the most alive and thriving. But what happens if you're like me and you're like, that means I'm going out more, I'm traveling more? Like for me, living in Toronto, we have such a small window for patios and it's generally like June and July. And the reason is that it gets super fucking hot in August, but also we have like a crazy amount of bees that like swarm in. So like it's so annoying on the patios come August. So whenever a friend, anyone, family suggests like, hey, want to come hang out and go on the patio, I am like, fuck yes, I'm there for it because I love being outside. I love the sunshine and I just love the ease of being home and then being able to be outside. Albert and I just bought new backyard furniture that we are enjoying and same kind of thing. We're just like, how can we leverage the outside more than anything? And so the summer mindset can come with some hidden anxiety because what I see so often is that June is really popular for people making changes. And then like nobody wants to make any changes to their bodies over summer because they're in a fuck it mentality. And then September comes and we get this like rush of women coming into the program because they're like, I just fucked up summer. I was traveling, my kids were away, or moved my kid into university. I mentioned Esther now. Or, I took off Fridays and went golfing, whatever it is. I did a lot of travel. It's just like we are in a summer mindset. And so the question I want to leave you with today and that we're going to really focus on, and this is what I did with my community call with our ladies in FFW the other week, was on the summer mindset. And the question was, how do you want a summer? All right. How do you want to summer? Because guess what? September will be here, unfortunately, before you know it. And what version of yourself do you want to end up as? And one of our clients had posted in our Slack channel and she is like, I'm going to have a hot girl summer. Like, that's what I'm fucking committing to. I'm having a hot girl summer. Another member of our community was like, I am not going to fucking set myself back by just, forgetting all patterns this summer. Like, I am not going to do that to my September self. And I sent an email actually about that this morning when I was talking about another podcast episode, funny enough, but I was saying like, hey, before you know it, the September you is going to be looking in the mirror. So right now, it's as at the date of this recording, it is June, right? So it's like June 17th and it's almost summer. Like summer's officially here this weekend. And you're going to look in the mirror and say, okay, how do I want a summer? Maybe you feel really good right now in your clothes. Maybe you're just like, I feel good. I bought some new clothes. I've got like really comfortable in my body. Or maybe you're just like, I'm not so comfortable in my body right now, but I'm going to make it work. And I wanted to make these changes, but I'm going to stop because summer's here and I'm going out to friends' houses more and there's more patios and there's more alcohol and there's more free flowing food and the fruits are all in season. And it's just like YOLO, FOMO, all the acronyms that you want to throw at yourself right now, right? But I want you to look in the mirror and pretend that you're looking at the September you and she's looking back at you. And remember, every fucking thing you do matters. Everything matters. Go check out that podcast. I'll link that below. So if you spend the next 8, 10, 12 weeks of summer with a fuck it mentality, how much harder is it going to be for that woman that you're looking at right now in the mirror? That September version of you. How much harder is it going to be for her? So imagine You're just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to get a little bit lazy with nutrition. I'm going to drink more. I want to enjoy my life. What's going to happen in September? What conversation are you going to have with her? Let's really dig into that for a second. Are you going to look at her and say, I can't believe you did this? Or are you looking at her and saying, that's fine, I'll just get back on track? Okay. Let's go down that road for a second. I'm just going to get back on track. So it is now September. You're looking in the mirror and you're like, all right, oh my God, your clothes don't fit. And you're like, well, you know what? It's summer. I have a whole year before I've got to fit into my clothes again. What if you have a mild September and October? So you're really uncomfortable in your clothes. And yet you're like, all right, September 1st, I'm starting again, or it's Labor Day, I'm starting again. Your weight keeps going up because for the last 8-10 weeks of inconsistency, it's not going to just stop when you decide mentally you're ready. It's going to keep fucking going for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. So weight's going to still go up. How are you going to feel then? How are you going to feel going back to routine, back to your consistency, back to the gym, back to work, back to structure, back to all the things? How are you going to feel putting on your clothes in the morning? How are you going to feel opening up your closet and knowing that there's only 2 or 3 things that you could potentially comfortably fit into and everything else is tight? What's that going to do to you mentally? How are you going to show up differently in your relationships? Think about with your partner, with your spouse. How is that going to change date nights? How is that going to change how you look in the mirror and feel about yourself? How many times are you going to look in the mirror and feel like, I can't believe I just let myself go. I can't believe I just didn't care. I kind of wish I didn't just give up in June. Because that's the conversation that I know September you is going to have with today you. So how do you want a summer? And I encourage you as you go through the summer to think about that. So for a lot of our women, and we shared this on the call, they said, I want to enjoy my summer, but I don't want to do it at the expense of setbacks. I don't want to go back to where I was. I don't want to regain the weight I've already lost. I don't want to put myself in situations where I know I'm going to be unsuccessful. So if you're trying to cut back on alcohol, and this is the first summer that you've done that, you might be like, okay, I'm going to need to hang around different friends because all my friends love to go, and drink. And I know that was the case for me too. And it got a little bit uncomfortable because I was like, I don't really want to drink anymore. So what do I do now? Kind of had to find a whole new circle, how to find new activities, how to find new things to do, new friendships, new mentorship, all these things, right? So it's like, how do you want a summer? I know for me, Albert and I are taking a lot of vacation. We are going away. Well, the kids are going to camp. And so we have a very limited time where it is just the 2 of us, which is awesome. It's like every parent's dream. But we do have a child with high needs, right? Owen has type 1 diabetes. And so there is that always running in the background wherever we go. And so we are a little bit more mindful and selective of where we go and what we do and when we do it, because I want to make sure that there's someone, reliable family member who is still somewhat able to, be there if they need to, or, want to make sure that I'm not in crazy time changes because I want to be available for real-time support when we have tech issues. And it makes things a little bit more complicated. So we have a really small window of time where we can just really let loose. And last summer we had an amazing summer. We had such a great summer that when the kids came home, we both had a little bit of I want to say depressive feelings of oh my God, our summer's over. Just like the kids come home from camp and they're like, I don't want to go back to school. We were like, oh my God, I got to go back to parenting. And I remember when we went to the buses last year in August and we were picking up our kids from camp, and we see lots of our friends that are picking up their kids from camp, and we all look the same. We were like, hey, how's it going? Oh, good. I'm excited to see my kids. So happy they're home and they're safe and they had a great time, but fuck, got to get back to parenting again. And the being needed constantly, right? Which obviously we do it, but when you get that break, it's like teachers, they go on break and then they have to go back to work, right? So for us last summer, we had a great time and we're trying to recreate that a little bit. It's our 20th wedding anniversary coming up this summer, and Albert and I have recommitted to a new style of relationship because we've outgrown our old relationship. We've been together, like I said, married 20 years. We dated for 7.5 years before then. And so we've got a lot of trips coming up. We're doing some fun activity trips. We're going to Costa Rica. Then we are doing a really, oh my God, I'm saying yes to everything this summer, but we're going to Vegas. I'm not a big Vegas fan. I actually really hate Vegas. But we're doing it because we got invited and we want to have fun. And I want to go outside the box a little bit and say, okay, I want to, let's go do the fun things. Right. But I do think of, okay, well, is there going to be more alcohol this summer for me because I'm, traveling to Vegas and everyone likes to drink there? Am I going to, be able to bring my own food when I'm in Costa Rica? Am I going to, want to enjoy things a little bit differently? And what's that going to look like? And I can tell you now, because of where I am in my journey, I have a little bit of that thought, but I don't fear what I used to do, because in the past I used to just really say fuck it and start in September. I don't I don't like that anymore because I have spent so much time on doing all these habits that don't serve me anymore, that the idea of my September me saying I can't believe I'm back here again doesn't serve me anymore, and I don't want that. That's not the version of me I am today. I've made too many changes to go there. So how I want to summer is in September, I want to look in the mirror and say, I said yes to a lot of things I typically say no to. I stayed out late, I traveled more, I tried more foods, I experienced more things. We're doing excursions that I normally wouldn't do and pay up for. It's like I'm living my life. I'm making memories. I'm enjoying time with my husband. I'm enjoying time with my friends. I'm going to be enjoying time, on a girls' trip as well. And doing all of these things is like to make memories. That's how I want to summer. That's what I want to do in September. Nowhere in there did I really say to myself, and I don't want to be like 10 pounds heavier, because I'm beyond that. But for me, that's a non-negotiable for me, right? Like everyone who I'm traveling with knows that, hey, we have options for you too to eat. And, it's not like I'm going to say, fuck it, because I am like 5-6 years ahead of likely where you are right now. I've been there. I've done that. And I hate it. And that's what made me actually start my whole journey back in 2020, where I said, and he actually started like even 2019, where I said, I hate the way I feel. I'm just so uncomfortable in my body right now. And I never want to go back there. And it took me so long to undo things that, now almost 6 years later, I'm more comfortable putting myself in situations where in previous times, those situations would have really stressed me out, caused a ton of anxiety and worry about like, oh my God, am I going to fuck this up? Am I going to go back to where I was? So I'm not saying, I'm sharing this so that you know that I've been where you've been and this is where I am now. Right. So the version of me is not all about like a fuck it mentality. Yes, I want to have fun in Vegas. Yes, I want to have fun in Costa Rica. Yes, I want to enjoy time alone with my husband. And, this is obviously the time where we try to see like friends every single weekend. So like when we're here, we're like, what are you doing this night? And also like, not for nothing, I don't want to cook a lot because I'm cooking so much during the other 10 months of the year that I say to Albert, like, I don't want to cook a lot. And my favorite dinner is breakfast for dinner. I still make that for us. We've had cereal before, for dinner. Albert's really easygoing with food too. So like, we just want to keep things out of routine a little bit so that when we have to go back into it in September, it feels refreshing again. So that's how I want to summer. But what I want to leave it with you is like, really, how do you want to summer? And if you're someone that is like, I just started implementing some of these amazing changes, I just started listening to the podcast. Maybe you're in the free Facebook group. Maybe you're thinking about joining the program. Maybe you just joined the program and you are just starting all these changes. And now you're faced with that summer and that transition into summer and that, oh my God, am I going to regress because I'm going to be drinking more? I'm going to encourage you to really stop and get granular on your mindset and who you identify and how you identify as right now. So for example, you might identify as someone who goes out and drinks and is like the life of the party and has fun. And now you're like, shit, who am I if I'm not her? And I know that was me. That's what I used to do. So, like what do you do? How do you re-identify yourself? So maybe you're like, I'm identifying me as someone who I want to be really active this summer and I want to enjoy and I want to slow everything down. Okay. Don't mind having a drink, but I'm not going to rush to drink number 2. And I always say when you're drinking, that first drink is the warm up, right? So you're like, I am not going to even have that warm up drink. I am just going to like, have soda water, or I'm going to have, whatever it is, like I'm going to have a pop instead, or whatever it is that you like, or you're like, I'm just going to have one drink and then I'm going to, switch to water and, enjoy it and enjoy being with people around me. I want to encourage you not to say, fuck it. Even if you're listening to this and it is like the middle of July or it's beginning of August and you're like, I did so well in I did so well in June and I did so well in July, but now August is here and I'm feeling like the start of it coming back. We used to take the kids always, when they came home from camp, we used to take them away in August. So they say like they were not ready to be reintegrated into society. They come off the bus. They're swearing worse than me. They're just like disgusting. And it's like, nope, we have to take them away. One summer we took our kids away. We took them north. And like the second we left the driveway, one of my kids had a sore throat. And within 24 hours, all 3 of them were on antibiotics. We had to go to like the local walk-in clinic. 2 of them had strep throat, 1 had viral, and 2 of them had finger infections. It's like, This is what we have. So when August comes, this is what I'm thinking is like, oh my God. For us also, when August comes, I start thinking about hockey again. It's like we've got hockey camp, training camp, that happens all before school. So like there is this bit of rush as the summer kind of plateaus, and then it starts to come down again where you're like, fuck, I got to get all this in now. I got to get all my partying and I got to get all the stuff in. But again, I encourage you to remember that the September you is still going to be looking at you in the mirror. So honor her, have a conversation with her, ask her, how do you want to feel at the end of the summer? And then sit down and write out exactly pen to paper what is important to you and what you want to keep. So it might be like, I'm not giving up my activity. Even when I am traveling, I'm still going to do my training. Or I'm not giving up my protein in the morning. Even when I'm traveling, I'm going to bring it with me. Or I'm not giving up my sleep. I'm still going to bed by 10 o'clock every night, even in the summer, even though it's still light out, I'm still going to go to bed at this time. This is really important to me. Because before you know it, the fall will be here, winter will be here, spring will be here, and then you'll have a summer again where you get to repeat these patterns. And remember, repetition is the magic word here. The more you do, the better you get. So practice, 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 but really have that conversation with yourself. How do you want to summer? Happy summer. Enjoy it. But this is certainly not an invitation to just fucking eat like an asshole and forget all and undo all. This is the opportunity to get super real with you. Keep your eyes open, keep your feet on the ground, have a safe and fabulous summer. I'd love to know how this lands for you. Go ahead and just, if you could just leave me a review, or fuck it, yeah, just leave me a 5-star rating. That would really help me. I would really appreciate it. Or you can also just reach me. I'll leave all those contacts below, and I'd love to know, how do you plan to summer?